are challenges around time issues and resource issues, and also making sure that the organisation, so senior management for example, remember that people are volunteering to do this, but we also have a day's job to do, and when the pressure's on, it is a challenge, and it's something that I'm trying to work out at the moment. So that is a current challenge, and I haven't quite got through that yet. The other thing is just making sure that people are there for the right reasons. So like I say, the network's trying to be as inclusive as possible, but also people who are in positions of responsibility within the network are doing it for the whole rather than just for individuals. And I think historically that maybe has been the difference between networks succeeding and not. So there are some challenges at the minute that I'm currently going through.
A very emotional person, so sometimes I can tend to take things on when I'm faced with a particular challenge, and I've had to learn about myself and being able to interact with individuals, hear their challenges, support them through those challenges without personally taking it on emotionally, and I think that was a bit of a low for me as well. But as far as the staff network group is concerned, I don't think there have been significant lows in my tenure so far. I think we are on a trajectory of moving forward or of advancing our agenda.
Some of the conversations or the situations that have been particularly challenging is, for example, me as a white woman challenging or understanding the experiences of, for example, a black nurse who may have experienced racism for a number of years or perceived racism, and then adding my voice to that as a white woman within the organisation. I find that quite challenging. And the way that I've overcome that is by empathising with people as an individual, but also not trying to gloss over the facts, because it's better that we're now having these conversations that may have been glossed over or people hadn't spoken about because they weren't confident enough or didn't have the language in order to be able to say, I feel like this, or a white manager being able to say, my employee feels like this and I don't know what to do about it. So although those conversations are challenging and emotional, because these things are, it's better that we're having those conversations, and we might get it wrong, but then hopefully we'll get it right the next time and get it right for more and more staff in the future. So although it has been difficult and really tricky, emotive conversations, I think it's for the greater good, and I think we should absolutely carry on doing that.
There's going to be a whole range of challenges that networks will have and that they'll face. And those again are likely to be reflective of where the organisations are at. So from a practical level, if you have got a staff network already, basically you've got almost like an organisation within an organisation. You've got a team of people. How's it going to be led? How is it going to be accountable? How is it going to feedback? Are people going to be able to attend those particular meetings? That's all extra time, it's extra work, extra output. So there are some of those kind of functional challenges in terms of that, and that's a whole new skill set potentially for some of the people in the network, but again, it's an opportunity in terms of growth, so there can be a benefit there. I think that depending what the challenges are that are actually going on in the unique organisation, if there are, let's say, there are issues with, let's say, and it often comes up, bullying, people feel as though there's a glass ceiling because of whatever reasons in terms of prejudice, preference, or what have you, or people not understanding the needs of a particular group based on gender, age, ethnicity, diversity, sexuality, faith, or any of these other things, then there may well be challenges that may well emerge depending on what the consciousness of the organisation is and their willingness to be able to work hand in hand with the network. So there may well be all sorts of challenges that may particularly emerge. And I think it's also going to be, what's going to be key here is this sense of partnership and one-ship ultimately between the network and the organisation. Often what can happen is that us and them, some people who aren't a member of the network might think, why is there a network for this group and there isn't a network for that particular group? So there are all of those kind of things to be mindful of, so that what's key is actually understanding what the network is there for and what success looks like for the network, for the members of that network, for the organisation, and for all of the staff involved.
So some of the challenges I've seen new networks facing have been quite interesting. Confidence is the biggest one, as in having someone come forward and actually take a piece of work on. I've done a job, I would say, of promoting the value of staff networks to individuals. However, if you do it too well, people can be a little bit put up and daunted by it. And I think initially when that message went out, no one wanted to start anything because they were a bit afraid of the challenge that was there. So what I've done is try to ensure that they know that they are going to be supported in that role. And I've also played that message out to our managers as well, to say that, you know, you need to support anyone who's willing to actually start that staff network, give them time to actually do that as well as part of their work objectives, for example. And as a result of that, it's taken time, but as a result of months of talking, a number of people have come forward and said that they wanted to chair and start the chair. And once the ball has gone and started rolling, more of that added onto that. But yeah, the initial challenge was confidence in actually doing that, or starting it off in the first place.
I think the biggest challenges for staff networks is the buy-in. I think you do need to get buy-in from the top. What's really good at Harper Collins is that our executives have bought into our all-in network from the beginning. You know, we have our CEO, Charlie, supporting us. He comes to our meetings if we ask him, if we have a particular issue that we want to present to him, he'll come to the meeting and we can tell him, you know, this is what we think, could we get your feedback on it? So I think getting support, not just from the top, and, you know, it is important to get it from the top, obviously, because they are beacons within any company and they can shine. And thanks to the support we've had from our executives, you know, other people from other departments have heard about us and kind of said, you know, my exec was talking about it, is this the thing? And you're like, yeah, come on in, we've got loads to do. We need more hands. So yes, I think that is a difficulty. I think if you're not in a company where the execs are on board, I think that it can be quite difficult to tell or show people the importance of having that communication and that staff network to try and, you know, build something new. But also, again, I think it feeds into the same thing, but showing how important staff networks are, I think, is a challenge. People don't really, you know, you say staff network and they're like, well, you know, just come in 9 o'clock, go home at 6 o'clock or whatever. How's this going to help me? But I think staff networks do a lot of work in the background, you know, whether it's creating, you know, we have a multi-faith room here, whether it's getting that room, making sure it's available to people, making sure we have the right disabled facilities here, making sure that we have the books available for not just your traditional reader, you know, partially sighted readers, you know, readers with autism who can't, you know, who just use audiobooks, for example. You know, those things in the background are really important. So even though you don't think that's going to affect your day-to-day, actually it will do, because the work that you're doing can be shared with other people. So I think it's that importance, it's conveying the importance of staff networks, which can be a little bit difficult. But once you show people practical examples, you can get over that hurdle. But it's a bit of a hurdle at the beginning.
Well, it's interesting because one of the things that always comes up, I suppose, is that people, when you go off to something that isn't the day job, someone might say, well, what is it that you're off? Where are you going? What are you doing? Oh, staff network. What is that? What is that? Is it just a jolly? Is it just a chit-chat? So I think it was really, it was a challenge for us to be able to get the powers that be, who in theory love the idea, to actually accept that you will have to give some time to it, and to understand that it's as much, it's work just like other work. You know, being in a staff network is about you as a human being and an employee in an organisation. You're not taking yourself off into a different world order. It's really important. So that was a real challenge, that it was something worthwhile, necessary and important. Other challenges, from our perspective, in terms of the LGBT plus network, it was about we wanted to be highly visible, we are, but we wanted to be really inclusive and not ghettoised. So for us, it was about the Alliance programme and working with the other networks as well, which can be a challenge because you aren't resourced that well. So, but none of us wanted to be siloed, so it's trying to find the common ground and work with that.